With the compact sizes and precise engineering of modern vehicles, a 1/4-inch drive socket set is a welcome addition to anyone's toolbox, whether DIYer or professional mechanic. Looking for a quality, affordable, well-made set is key in getting value for your dollar. When we look at tools, there's a flood of foreign, Chinese, and Taiwanese cheaply made tools, but most of you that know about quality look for something that is USA made, Japanese made, or German made. So in today's video, we're going to take a look at 3 USA made 1/4-inch drive socket sets, all 44 piece, compare and contrast each, go over price, go over other metrics, and see which one gets you the most bang for your buck. Our first set comes from Snapon. It is a part number 144 TMPB. Retail price is $749. It is a 44-piece set in SAE and metric. You get a 9/16 to a 3/16 deep and shallow, and 14mm to 5mm deep and shallow. 2 extensions, a ratchet, and a universal joint comes in this blow molded case. Our second set is this Mac SMM446BR, coming in at a retail price of $521.99. Also a 44-piece set. You get metric and SAE sockets from 14 to 5.5mm and 9/16 to 3/16. You get 2 extensions, a ratchet, and a universal joint. Comes in a blow molded case as well. Coming in last but not least is this SK91844 44-piece socket set, 9/16 to 1/4-inch deep, 9/16 to 3/16 shallow, 2 extensions, ratchet. You get 15 to 4mm in shallow and 15 to 6mm in deep well. Comes as well in a blow molded case. The Snap-on case measures 10 inches across, 8.5 inches deep, and 1 3/4 in depth. The lid is not detachable for easy storage in a toolbox drawer. The Mac is 10 inches in width, 8.5 inches in depth, and 2 inches in thickness. The lid is also not detachable for easy storage in a toolbox drawer. The SK measures 12 inches across, 8.25 inches to the back, and 1 7/8 inches in thickness. The SK's case lid is attached and not detachable either. Coming in the Snap-on kit, you have a Snap-on T72 1/4-inch drive ratchet. It is a 72-tooth mechanism, dual pawl, and it equates out to a 5-degree swing arc. Precision control, giving you little tiny movements of the ratchet to advance the drive in that 5-degree arc swing. Also has a very low back drag on the ratchet mechanism for starting and loosening very loose fasteners. The Mac set comes equipped with the 1/4-inch drive MR5K ratchet. This is a 30-tooth mechanism, which equates out to a 12-degree swing arc. Not as precise, not as tight as the Snap-on's mechanism, and much more noticeable back drag. Also, it's a single pawl ratchet, as you can see from the jumping of the reversing lever while ratcheting the ratchet. The SK set comes equipped with the 40970 1/4-inch drive ratchet with 120 teeth dual pawl mechanism. This equates out to a mere 3-degree swing arc with the most precise control and the lowest amount of movement required to advance the drive. Back drag is slightly less than the Mac, but not quite as little as the Snap-on. Since size is the name of the game with 1/4-inch drive ratchets and socket sets, let's take some measurements of these ratchets, starting with the Snap-on. Take a look at the width of the ratcheting head body. We've got 22.97mm. Looking at the depth from the end of the drive to the top of the selector switch, we've got 22.5mm. And overall ratchet length is 118.7mm. Moving on to the Mac. Overall width at the thickest point, 22.7mm. Overall depth from the top of the selector switch to the bottom of the anvil, 21.3mm. And overall length of the ratchet, is 121.4 millimeters. Looking at the SK round head design compared to the pearl head on the Snap-on and Mac, we have a width of 24.25 millimeters. Have an overall depth from the end of the drive to the top of the selector switch of 23.7 millimeters. And overall length of the ratchet being 114.2 millimeters. As far as overall head width, the Mac barely inked out over the Snap-on by 0.2 of a millimeter. The Mac also won in the department of depth by 1.2 millimeters over the Snap-on. And as far as overall length, the SK was the shortest at 121.4 millimeters. Looking at included set members, socket overall coverage of sizes, the Snap-on has 9/16 to 3/16 in deep and shallow, 14 millimeter to 5 millimeter in deep, 14 millimeter to 5.5 millimeter in shallow. Mac has 14 to 5.5 deep and shallow, 9/16 to 3/16 deep and shallow. The SK set has 9/16 to 3/16 shallow, 9/16 to 1/4 inch in deep well. In deep well, they have in metric 15 to 6 millimeter, and in shallow, they have 15 to 4 millimeter. Overall coverage advantage and winner is the SK by having all of 15 millimeter to 4 millimeter covered in one size or the other, either deep or shallow. Snap-on will take second, having added the 5 millimeter in the shallow and 5.5 in deep, and Mac will take third, stopping at 5.5, not offering a 5 millimeter, also not offering a 15 millimeter. Likewise, the Snap-on does not offer a 15 millimeter in either sizes. From there, we'll take a look at included socket accessories in both of these sets. The Snap-on comes with 2 extensions and a universal joint. The Mac comes with 2 extensions and a universal joint. SK set only coming with 2 extensions. SK falls to third for that. And in between the Snap-on and the Mac, the Snap-on takes the advantage for the compact size and precision of its universal joint in comparison to that of the Mac's included universal joint. Laser welded pins on the Snap-on and visible, looser, fatter, stamped in pins on the Mac Universal. Next category is socket stamping and legibility. Clear winner in this is SK. They have the largest font on their sockets, easiest to read the sizes. Coming in second, I believe, would be Snap-on. Their font is very clear, and it also is very deeply stamped. And the Mac closely coming in third to the Snap-on. Very clear, legible stamping, but is quite shallow compared to the Snap-on, which with time could wear away and make it harder to see. Whereas with time, the SK and the Snap-on having more depth of their stamping, would build up filled with dirt and grease and debris and make it even more clearer the sizes. As far as identifying your sockets at a quick glance, differentiation between SAE and metric sockets, tied for first is the Mac and Snap-on. Snap-on uses a double-lined pattern for their metrics, and Mac uses a cross-hatch pattern for their metric sockets, and both of them use a smooth socket for their SAE. SK uses bands, 2 bands for SAE and 3 bands for metric, which at a very quick glance is hard to differentiate SAE from metric sockets. So SK is going to be third in this. As I said, Snap-on and Mac are pretty much tied first and second. If I had to give advantage to anybody, it would be for Snap-on because they have 2 rows of hash marks for the metric, whereas Mac only has 1. But again, it's negligible which one is the winner or loser. They both are very clear and distinct which one is metric, which one is SAE at a very quick, easy glance. So which socket has the best holding feature, anti-round out feature? Snap-on sockets are equipped with Snap-on flank drive, which was patented in 1965. The Mac sockets come with Mac drive, their offloading of corners and flat side of the fastener grabbing system. And SK comes with their Sure Grip system, another system very much all like Snap-on flank drive that grabs the flats rather than the corners of a fastener to prevent from rounding them. Which system is the best? Hard to say. Don't really have a test in mind to calculate which one is the best. Kind of comes down to personal preference. Snap-on flank drop is the oldest technology here, and most of these, as far as I'm aware, are an adaptation of that technology from the 1960s. So I would have to say the advantage would go to Snap-on in this, and second and third place are up to you to decide. Another important metric in comparing these sets is the slop or wiggle between the drive of the ratchet and the drive tools and the sockets. Here we have the Mac. Here we have the Snap-on. And here we have the SK. As far as the ratchet drive to socket, fitment, and slop, I believe the winner here is a tie between the SK and Mac. And third place would be the Snap-on. It had quite a bit more movement. So let's take a look at the slop and fitment and retention of the extension and the socket. Pretty tight for the Snap-on. Very good retention. Now the Mac. Quite a bit more play. Still has quite a bit of good retention, comparable to the Snap-on and to the SK. Quite a bit more slop, and the retention is not quite as high as the Snap-on and the Mac. I believe the Snap-on will win this one due to the least amount of slop and the tight detent. Mac in second and SK in third, just because it was loose and lower retention in holding the socket on the extension drive. Now looking at overall outer dimensions of the sockets. If we look at the SK and the Snap-on deep well, they're pretty much the exact same depth as well as the same full size all the way down. We look at the Mac 14 and we see that it is neck down. Gives a little bit more clearance up at the drive end. Will that affect strength? Most likely not, being 1/4 inch drive. It won't see enough strength to really do any damage to the socket item. Looking at the shallow 14 Snap-on and SK, again, full sized, about the same depth. When we put it beside the Mac is neck down as well for a little bit more extra clearance in tight spaces. So for this, I believe the Mac will take #1 spot, just due to the fact that they neck down their sockets in the larger sizes for a little bit more clearance, and SK and Snap-on pretty much tie for second place. Next, looking at the shouldering of the deep well sockets. The Mac is very deeply broached. The Snap-on and the SK are both basically the same depth of their broaching, which is a lower shoulder. This helps in retention and starting of nuts to keep them from dropping all the way down the socket if you have to start one blind against gravity. The Mac definitely will not have an advantage in starting a nut on a shallow stud. SK and Snap-on are basically tied in that. Another advantage, though, to having the deeper shouldering is if you have a very deep stud to get over. The Mac would have a slight advantage in that. But overall, a more shallow broach depth is advantageous in the deep well sockets. So the Snap-on and the SK will get the head over the Mac there. The SK has a bit of an advantage in the shallow socket. It is the lowest shouldered socket. The Snap-on and the Mac are basically all the way back to the drive, but the SK is shouldered much higher than them on their shallow, so advantage would go to the SK in shallow shouldering of their shallow sockets. Being that these sets are in a case and mobile, let's see how secure they are at transporting your tools and keeping them where you want them. So we first got the Snap-on set. Everything pretty much stayed exactly where it should. Snap-on case held everything as it should. Very well protected and still stayed organized. The Mac set is going to have a big advantage with that piece of foam there. Everything exactly where it should be. The foam did its job, kept everything from rattling around or moving inside the case. onto the SK set. Again, everything stayed put in its place where it should. All three cases did an excellent job of retaining the sockets in movement, in jumbling around in a tool bag, in the back of a truck, in the back of a car. They're not gonna go missing on you. Being that these sets are all in blow molded cases, that means they're for on the go and for walking around, moving around with you. Which one has the best grip? Which one can you hold on to the best? The Snap-on. Very easy to grab in the hand, grasp in the hand. It has a bit of texture on the outside for extra grip if your hands are slick or slippery. Likewise, the Mac has a nearly identical case, grip on the outside with this texturing. Thin, easy to grasp with your hand. SK has a little bit less of that grip on it, but it does have this nice recess here and here for your fingers and thumb. A lot easier to grab, and it is also thinner than the other two cases, so a little bit easier to wrap your hand around it, and gives you a little bit of positive retention. The SK case, I think, has the advantage here in mobility and movement, just for having these release here for gripping. Bang for your buck is another important metric in this, and as we said earlier, the Snap-on was the most expensive set at $745. Full list price on the Mac was $521.99, and full list price for the SK was $319.54. It's currently on special for $287.59, but I purchased this set brand new for $199 Amazon Prime from SK's Amazon store. So we have expensive, most expensive to the least expensive. For the Snap-on, for this 44-piece set, you're paying an average of $16.93 per set member. For the Mac, you're paying $11.86 per set member. And the SK set, you are paying $4.52 per set member. So for overall value, money spent per pieces, SK is the clear winner, followed by Mac, and in last is Snap-on. Now, the Snap-on set and the Mac set can be bought on promotion from time to time from a Snap-on or Mac dealer. I believe the Snap-on set sometimes comes up on a 50% off deal promotion, and not sure on the Mac, but I'm sure they do run a promotion of couple hundred bucks off, something like that, a couple times a year. So be on the lookout for those promotions if you have a tool truck coming to you, or if you are DIYer looking for a set, the SK is the clear choice for price on that metric. So I've gone through and calculated all of the scores. Our winner is the Snap-on with 29 points, followed closely by the SK set with 31 points, and last is the Mac with 36 points. Which set is right for you? Which one fits your needs? You'll have to decide that for yourself if you're a DIYer. The SK very closely comes right behind the Snap-on for a fraction of the price. All of these tools are covered by each individual manufacturer's lifetime warranty that covers defects in material and workmanship, and will be replaced for a lifetime of ownership of the tool. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video.